XRP has always been controversial. It isn't anonymous, it isn't mined, it isn't trying to replace the banking system. It's trying to work with it. And because of that, XRP holders live in a very different psychological world than most crypto investors. For years, it felt radioactive, delisted, frozen, mocked. Then suddenly, it wasn't. Liquidity returned, institutions re-engaged, prices moved. And for the people who held XRP through all of that, one realization quietly crept in. This might actually work. That's usually when the next thought follows. If this finally pays off, how much of it do I actually get to keep? Because XRP doesn't just come with price volatility. It comes with tax complexity that most people never think through until the moment they sell. And when they do, the IRS is waiting. For tax purposes, XRP is property, just like Bitcoin, just like Ethereum. That means selling XRP for dollars is taxable, trading it for another asset is taxable, using it to pay for something is taxable. Every exit is a tax decision. And because XRP has historically moved in violent bursts, long periods of nothing, followed by sudden spikes, many holders are tempted to sell emotionally. That's where most of the damage happens. Wealthy XRP holders don't approach it that way. They don't see XRP as a trade that eventually turns into cash. They see it as a position that needs to be handled. The first strategy they use is restraint. XRP's long flat periods train people to be impatient, but wealthy investors understand that selling too early, especially inside a one-year holding window, can be devastating from a tax perspective. Short-term gains are taxed as ordinary income. That's the highest rate you'll ever pay. So even when XRP rallies hard, many wealthy holders pause before selling anything at all. They measure time before price. A few extra months of holding can mean a difference between writing a massive check to the IRS and keeping a meaningful portion of the upside. But even when liquidity is needed, selling isn't always the move. Like other crypto assets, XRP can be used as collateral. Borrowing against XRP allows holders to access cash without triggering a taxable sale. Loans aren't income. Ownership doesn't change. From the IRS's perspective, nothing happened. That doesn't mean there's no risk. XRP's volatility makes conservative borrowing essential. Liquidation during a downturn is the nightmare scenario. But when used carefully, borrowing turns XRP from something you eventually sell into something that supports your balance sheet. Another difference with XRP is how often it intersects with institutions. XRP's entire narrative revolves around payments, liquidity, and settlement. That means some wealthy holders think about XRP less like a speculative asset and more like infrastructure exposure. That mindset changes behavior. Instead of flipping XRP during rallies, they think about where it's held. Some exposure sits in taxable accounts. Some sits in structures designed to defer or soften taxes. They're intentional about asset location because XRP's long-term potential doesn't align well with constant taxable churn.
Then there's a strategy most people never associate with XRP: charitable giving. Selling appreciated XRP first is often the least efficient path if someone already donates. Selling creates a taxable gain, then donating cash only partially offsets it. Wealthy donors reverse the order. They donate appreciated XRP directly to qualified charities or donor-advised funds. The gain is typically never realized. The charity sells tax-free, and the donor may receive a deduction based on fair market value. From the outside, it looks like XRP disappeared without consequence. In reality, it was transferred deliberately. XRP also benefits from one of the quietest rules in the tax code: time. If XRP is held until death, heirs generally receive it with a stepped-up cost basis. That means years of appreciation can vanish for capital gains purposes. No sale ever occurs. No taxable gain is realized. This matters more for XRP than most assets because of how long many holders have waited. What feels like finally selling to one generation may look like never selling at all to the next. But perhaps the biggest difference between wealthy XRP holders and everyone else is planning. Most people think about taxes after the rally. Wealthy investors plan before it. They track cost basis obsessively. XRP's age, exchange migrations, and wallet transfers make poor record-keeping incredibly expensive. Every missing timestamp or undocumented transfer increases audit risk. They harvest losses intentionally when markets crash. Debt positions aren't ignored. They're used to offset future gains. They understand that XRP's regulatory clarity doesn't remove tax obligations. It just makes planning more predictable. And some make a decision that changes everything. They move, not between wallets, between states. Relocating from a high-tax state to one with no state income tax before realizing large XRP gains can save hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions, in taxes. It's not a trick, it's a life decision. And it's one of the clearest examples of how wealthy investors think beyond the asset itself. So what does all of this mean if you hold XRP? It means XRP itself isn't the risk. The risk is treating a long-term, infrastructure-driven asset like a short-term lottery ticket. Owning XRP isn't taxable. Holding XRP isn't taxable. Selling XRP at a loss isn't taxable. Taxes only appear when gains are realized, and XRP's history makes emotional selling especially dangerous. That's why it looks like the rich sell XRP without paying taxes. They don't rush, they don't react, they don't confuse price spikes with decisions. They treat XRP like something that requires patience, structure, and intent. And in the end, that discipline matters far more than the token itself.